another edition of Fish Talk TV. Regardless of what you may have to say, we're back again anyway. I'm Charlie, and I'm one of the co-hosts of Fish Talk TV, and I want to welcome you along with our co-hosts Joe and Mark.
Howdy.
Hey guys.
Hi.
And we're back to give you another addition to, hopefully, the next 15 minutes or so, give you some information that'll help you, if not catch more fish, at least have more fun at it, we think. We're going to start today with the fishing report. Fellas, we're now over the weekend, and
How did you do, Charlie?
not good. Followed by not good. But I understand you guys.
Is that better than bad?
No, it's worse than bad. It's a minus sign. I had to get fish back. So, what I heard on the other hand, you fellas did rather well. Is that right?
Well, we got a keeper.
Yeah, first of the year.
First of the year. What size was it?
Well, about 20, 21 inches.
And what did you measure?
I'll tell you once it's done.
It was about a plate and a half.
About 2.5, 3 pounds.
2.5, 3 pounds? Oh, that's terrific. Now, what kind of temperature was the water? Where were we at?
How about it, Mark?
It was pretty chilly to start off with, at 59 or so. By the end of the day, it got to like 62, 63 in the shallows. So
it was still fairly cold for this time of year. Early June, we should be in the mid-60s right now, but it's, for some reason, whether it's ocean upwells or whatever it is, but the water's been fairly cool.
Is that all you did all day? Was the one fish? Did you catch others?
I guess we caught 6 fish total, 5 shorts in 14 to 17 inch range, mostly in the back areas behind Brigantine to the north end of Brigantine.
All right. Well, hey, let's take a look and see what they caught.
First keeper of the year. Okay. We'll get that out of the net. Okay. Let's measure him. Beautiful. 20 inch. Take a picture of it.
Guys, that's a nice fish.
Not too bad. What do you
Very
think?
nice. Yeah. I'm jealous considering I was down in Cape May and I went out. The water was 61 degrees out in the ocean. I ran out 5 miles to 5 mile lump out of the front of the canal. Nothing. Came back in, fished the inland waterway where the water was about 63 degrees. Myself and about 1,000 other people.
And again, no one picking anything
up.
No
one picking anything up.
No bluefish.
Nothing. No fish, period.
We saw actually bluefish.
Literally, you saw bluefish backs cresting through, going after bunker and small bait fish.
Well, I wound up running out back into the canal and up by in front of Canyon Club, which is a flounder hotspot. Nothing was there, so I decided to run all the way up the canal past the ferries. It got 70 degrees, the water out there.
How was the water quality? Look good?
The water quality really was very, very nice. It was clear. It was that dark green, as it were.
We had the same thing even in the backwaters. Very clean. In the very, very backwaters, we were starting to pick up a little of the algae we like to call snotweed and some of the other things, but not very much. Out front, where we were in the inlet, it was virtually weed-free, so pretty interesting.
I ran all the way down the concrete ship and all the way out to one of the flat spots out there in the rips, and got nothing. That was it. I finally said, that's enough. All I'm doing is burning gas. Came back in.
What were you using for bait?
I was using a combination. I was using Gulf, as I've seen you guys do, and also I was using the minnows and squid, the combo, and I got nothing. I wound up at the end of the day, being the very kind person that I am, I released all of my minis.
Probably to have fish immediately underneath.
It's one of those things, you're running over fish to catch the fish, so it's probably what happened to me. Well, when I fish, I learned from you that it takes a certain technique. I was using monofilament line for the longest year, in fact, all my life to fish with. But you discovered some time back something different that really changed the style of your fishing, didn't it?
Well, yeah, Charlie, after reading a little bit about different techniques and ways of dealing with contact with the bottom, I've changed over all my reels to utilizing a braided line as opposed to a monofilament. I was using a combination polymer for a while, and some of the better regular monofilaments, but I just didn't have the feel nor touch nor what I felt to be the constant contact of the bottom.
Well, when you use the braided line, were you using the same kind of rods you used to, or did you change?
Nothing's changed in that respect.
Can you give a description of your rods?
Well, I use graphite rods. They're fast and they're they're essentially like sticks. I don't like to have any give to them whatsoever. It's not a casting like you'd.
What is that? What's the purpose of that?
Well, so I can have a sort of a feel to the bottom. So there's in my instant feedback in my hand when I'm touching that line. I don't want to have anything that can take away what I can feel on the bottom. Since I am bottom fishing, I'm looking to have that just barely able to graze the bottom using just enough weight to get down there, but not so little that I'm not on the bottom. And braided line allows me to do that. As you know, I use 30-pound braided line,
30? Yeah.
And that's about the size of an 8 or 6-pound regular monofilaments in terms of the diameter. So it gives you a much less profile. It allows you to cut through the water a lot easier. In addition, as you know, a braided line has, if not virtually, nearly no stretch.
Right.
So that when you pull up, you're getting the exact feel of what the bottom is.
You're lifting 6 inches, you're actually lifting 6
lifting 6 inches. There's no stretch in the line. Now that can be a problem. Monofilaments, that's one of the benefits of monofilament, that it has a little give and it has a little play, so it gives you a little leeway if you're snagged on something or if you don't want to necessarily set the hook immediately, you just want to put some tension on the line. With monofilament, you have that grace, that leeway. With the braided line, you don't. When you move, everybody's moving. But for me, that allows me to have that feeling on the bottom.
You convinced me a couple of years ago. I've seen you do it, and I moved over to the braided line. And I've told everybody who fishes on our boat that that's the way to go. All of our rods now, everything in the boat, has nothing but braided lines. And you're the reason for it, because we saw it in action. Of course, when you're fishing, especially this past weekend, some of us, we won't mention who, we'll mention by initials. His name is Mark.
That's 4 initials.
Had an issue both with the combination of getting hot and sunburn. Mark, you have the same issue I do. We can't stand heat. We don't tolerate heat or humidity very well.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
Well, actually, it's something you bought for me a couple years ago. It's a net coolie. I have one over here, and
I'll hold it out for everybody.
what it is basically is a piece of cloth that's filled with this gelatin that when you soak it in water, it basically becomes like a small ice cube.
Between there and there.
What you do is once you put it in cold water like that, you wrap it around your neck like this, and it really does cool you down.
So you got the carotid arteries up there, is that it?
Right, and it's amazing how much it cools you down. In fact, you also bought me a new thing this year, which is a coolie hat. It does the same thing.
That's a great idea.
It has the gelatin inside each of the seams, and when you soak it in the seawater and you put it on, you're immediately cooled down. It's amazing.
Very dapper, Mark.
You like that?
But at the same time, while you're cooling down, last week you were red, my friend.
Yeah, I didn't put any suntan lotion on, and boy, did I get burned. My legs were so bad.
From what?
That I'm going to use suntan lotion.
Well, something that Joe does, and again, he being one with nature, as we like to say, has taught me. Now, you like shorts. Right? And as much as I like to wear shorts too, when I go fishing now, I only wear long pants, and I always bring a shirt that can at least roll down if I wish, because I am so intolerant, and I'm taking a lot of medications, and because of that, I'm not supposed to be in the sun.
We're more fair-skinned than Joe is.
Well, that's one of it, but also when I'm wearing my long sleeves, if you notice, they're either white or some other very light color that reflect a lot, and by actually having them down here, although you build up a little bit of temperature, by not having the sun strike you, it's bouncing off most of it, so you're not picking up any of that energy. So it's another...
So for the long term, you're really better off.
A little bit. It is for me. For folks that do have, or say on very calm days where it's stifling hot out there, you guys would not be able to take it because in the long sleeves you're building up heat underneath. But on windy days or days where it's fairly high sun, we're in a position that a long sleeve shirt won't make that much of a difference to you. It will reflect a little bit of light, primarily for the sunburn, more so than the heat.
My son gave me a shirt that's specifically made for fishing. It's tied up here as a little bit of Velcro. You can let it down, it rolls down, but it's extremely light and it breathes like crazy, and they only come in colors which reflect light.
Yes.
So they're not heavy like denim, but they still give you that protection from the sun.
Well, if you look at people who are actually, who live in deserts and who have their lifestyle built around that, whether it's in our Southwest or throughout the Middle East or the southern portions of Asia and Africa, almost all those people wear very light colors, but also cover most of their body.
Yes, they do.
And it isn't so much to protect from the heat as it is to keep the sun from getting to you.
Well, these are really some good things. We like to think that this may all sound like a second nature to everybody, but sometimes you need to be whacked on the back of the head like some of us.
Look at me, I'm peeling like a snake.
and like me too. So sometimes we have to say the obvious to remind ourselves to do the obvious, because sometimes we just don't do that. We pay the penalty. Speaking about paying the penalty, one of the things about, of course, fishing is boating safety. And this weekend we had the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary down at the dock, down at Breezy Lee. That's where we dock, down in Cape May. And the fellow came on board and gave us an inspection. Yes, I did. He's looking for specific things relevant to safety. He's not there to give you a ticket. They have no authorization, things of that nature. But they go through, they see, do you have life vests? Are they the right life vests? Are they readily available? Do you have a throwing device with a float rope attached?
Actually attached?
Attached.
They didn't say that in the past.
It should be attached. And the reason being is you throw it, and he's floating away. So while he may live, he may wind up in Australia.
You know, it's funny because this is stuff that we've actually joked about ourselves when we read the regulations about why there isn't the need to have that rope attached. It's so nice to see it actually has taken its natural course.
Well, it has. He's also looking, obviously, to make sure that your flares are up to date, that your fire extinguisher is in good working order and currently in the green, as it were, currently inspected. He's looking to see a little bit of documentation that you do have, your registration, that type of thing, is in order. And if they do that, what they'll do is they'll walk around, make sure that the boat is in good condition, you don't have any holes, things of that nature. And especially now, we have my grandson on board, and he noticed that right away. As soon as my grandson gets on the dock, we know it's mandatory, he puts on a life vest.
Right.
So it's these type of things, and if you haven't done it, it costs you nothing, but the return on investment for safety just can't be measured, especially when you need it.
Did they ask you if you had if you had a mirror or a whistle,
yes,
or some kind of noise device?
You need to have what they call a whistle. It can be a horn, it can be a whistle. You can also use a mirror. The mirror is not mandatory, however. They also have to check if you do have a radio, that you know how to work it and that it is functioning. So I said yes, and I turned on one of the stations and demonstrated the fact that it will work and you can broadcast and receive. So it's well worth it, everyone. And look, it's getting to that time. We just heard our whistle go off ourselves. It's time to call another week, another show. We thank you for coming and being with us again this week at Fish Talk Radio, Fish Talk TV, and we'll see you next week. Remember, everything up here is good for you. You got weather, you got tides, you got all the good stuff you need. You got some funny jokes up here as well. So push on some of the buttons. I think you'll have fun with it. But for today, this is Charlie.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Mark.
Keep your eyes in the water.
Let's go! Go! Here we go with Fish Talk Radio. Talk fishing and boating. So much more. And weather. Fish matter. You'll be ready when the big one bites. Let's go!